On WROI Giant FM and streaming live on the First Federal Facebook page.
It is an absolutely beautiful morning, and I get to say that, Evan, because the sun's out now.
I know. I haven't done a whole lot of summer shows, but I'm going to call this one a summer show.
Oh, are we?
Yeah, that's what I'm
jump
doing.
on the gun early, huh?
Yeah, it's not quite hot enough yet, but it looks like it, don't you think?
Yes, it's definitely a beautiful morning.
It's going to be a pretty good weekend, and I just read that there's free admission to state parks on Sunday, too. So.
Ooh, and it's free fishing day.
That's right, tomorrow. Is that right? Or
Sunday.
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 Oh, great. You can combo that up into a nice picnic, too. If you're near a state park.
Right.
Or just drive to one.
Yeah, drive to one, do some fishing while you're at the state park.
And hiking.
And hiking. And
chasing a dog.
Yeah.
Ride a pony.
Not for me.
Okay. The economy is expected to have added over 1 million jobs in April.
Good.
It's on fire, I think.
Yes.
So we'll see how far this pandemic recovery takes us. I think that's the key.
Let's hope a long way.
Everyone's got some cash to spend.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Okay, big week, NFL draft. Kind of a good one. There's a lot of great players, and it's always a fun draft when there's several good quarterbacks around.
Yeah.
So this year there were quite a few good quarterbacks, and our trivia questions about this morning. Tanner, you wanna do the trivia for us?
Sure. And I know, Paul, I know you're a Browns fan, but this is a Bears-related question this morning. Knew Evan would be thrilled about that. Who is the only quarterback drafted by the Chicago Bears to start at least 100 NFL games in the modern era? I'll give you 3 choices.
Okay.
So you have a 1 in 3 chance. Is it A, Jim Harbaugh, B, Bobby Douglas, or C, Mitch Trubisky?
In the modern era, it may not be as modern as what you're thinking.
No,
Right.
It goes back to the merger pretty much.
Yeah.
So 60s.
Okay.
All right.
So good luck.
Yeah.
Think on that. Later in the show, for our guest this morning, we're going to welcome Greg Danner, and he is a First Federal family member.
Yes, he is.
So we're going to get to know him a little bit more. He's our Senior Vice President of Development and Compliance.
Okay.
And has had a special task over the last year of helping us launch our First Federal Insurance Services.
Awesome.
So we're going to talk just a little bit more in depth about that this morning later on in the show. Tanner, what about sports?
Yeah, like every week, got a lot of local sports going on. So much so, I can't write it all down in the script, or we'd be here for the whole time just talking local sports. But I do see that Caston softball team's ranked number 4 in the state in Class A.
And they just beat another top 10 team, I think.
Yeah, they are rolling. I talked to their athletic director and the principal, Chuck Evans, once in a while out on the golf course. And he's told me about the potential of this team for 2 years now, because a lot of the girls that make up this team are young, are sophomores, or freshmen.
Neat.
So they're going to be pretty good for the next couple of years.
That's exciting. What
Yeah.
a neat thing to have on this spring after all of the sports uncertainty for a while.
Absolutely.
And things seem to be rolling.
They were really looking forward to softball season last year, and that got canceled. So
And I'm happy for the spring sports around this year.
Absolutely.
sure, I mean they're getting to play and participate this year, and a lot of them can have pretty much full capacity at their events.
That's
which
great.
is great.
Yep.
Good.
Outdoor.
So, yep, outdoor. I know the golfers are doing good. Greg Miller, freshman over at Tippecanoe Valley, he shot a 73 at the Wicklow Invitational the other day,
Wow.
which still didn't win the tournament. I couldn't believe that.
What?
That was third. So there was 2 guys who shot better than that. But still, that's a really good score no matter what grade level you're at, particularly as a freshman.
That's incredible.
And Reese Rainey's the senior at Rodgers has been playing really well as well. So those 2 are kind of leading the teams right now.
That kind of score has never been really in my viewpoint.
Oh,
Personally.
I neither.
Wow.
So,
Mine probably be
Playing
closer
some good
to,
golf.
double that.
Yeah.
but good luck to everybody that is participating in spring sports, and it's one of those seasons that probably gets their games postponed, suspended, and canceled from the weather the most.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, winter you're indoors,
No, well,
and in
yeah.
fall you don't usually have as rainy weather as you do in the spring.
That's a good point.
So
Actually, I think I did shoot a 73.
Yeah.
It was at the Smuggler's Cove miniature golf course.
Well, at least you got it in somewhere.
Way to go, Greg. That's incredible.
First round NFL draft was last night, as you mentioned before our trivia question. I stayed up for the whole thing. It got over about midnight.
We're here to help you out this morning if you need it.
Yeah, a little some caffeine this morning, but I love the NFL draft. It's an event I look forward to every year. Kind of caps off the off season. And before the draft, I said there was a lot of news coming out that was kind of exciting. First, it was Tim Tebow, supposedly trying to make an NFL comeback as a tight end.
How old is Tim Tebow?
He's going to be 34 in August. Not really your prime age, trying to make a comeback. I mean, he hasn't played in the NFL since 2012.
What a unique player. I think...
Spent some time in minor leagues and baseball.
Love to be teaching our kids about him someday, but what a unique athlete.
So we'll see if it works out for him. I mean, his buddy, good close friend, Urban Meyer's the new coach of the Jaguars. Might be doing him just a favor, giving him a tryout, but we'll see what happens. And then Aaron Rodgers' report came out yesterday. He's really, really unhappy with the Green Bay Packers. Can't really blame him for things that have happened the last 2 years.
They seem out of sync with him.
And he's pretty much telling people he wants traded, and he's not going to return to Green Bay. So we'll see what happens. There's a long ways to go. Green Bay so far standing put and not trading him. There's a lot of rumors before the draft that the Denver Broncos could be suitors. That got my eyebrows raised. Of course, I'm like, trade the whole draft. Do whatever you got to do.
Clear the shell.
Yeah, Ricky Williams type deal. When the Saints got him when Mike Ditka was their GM. But we'll see what happens there. But the Packers didn't really do themselves any favors last night picking 29. I thought they'd get a wide receiver to help them. Cornerback on defense.
Meh.
They've never. He's thrown one touchdown in his Packers career to a player they've chosen in the first round.
I bet he was steamed last night after that pick.
I bet he was too. He's probably like, see, that's why I don't want to go back. So, he wants a long-term deal, and they're not.
He's got a couple of years left, doesn't he, on his current deal?
Yeah. But they drafted Jordan Love in the first round last year.
And traded up to do it, I think.
Didn't let him know that was going to happen. So they kind of dug themselves a hole here.
It's interesting to see kind of quarterbacks, excellent quarterbacks, flexing their muscles and seeing how much influence they actually have. Because, Russell Wilson was working on this out in Seattle early this offseason, too.
Yeah, this is the reigning MVP.
Yeah.
He won the MVP in 2020, so he's not, a backup quarterback or a mid-tier quarterback we're talking about. This is one of the best quarterbacks that ever played the game.
Yeah, they might be looking a little too far forward on this.
As a Bear fan, I'm sure you would just hate to see him
leave
the division.
Yeah. Well, I knew they wouldn't trade him to the Bears, so I didn't get quite as excited as you did.
Well, and that's the thing. I was thinking if they end up trading him, they'll probably get trade him out of the NFC. I know San Francisco was a rumor team. Well, they took Trey Lance last night at 3, so that's not going to happen. But I would think an AFC team would make sense, so they wouldn't have to meet up with them unless it's the Super Bowl, or I guess you could play the cross-division game, but we'll see. I don't know. I think there's a long ways to go. A lot of rumors out there.
He does best when he feels slighted, too. So
he does.
He's probably getting into the right mindset again.
Yeah, he's done hosting Jeopardy now, so he was a fill-in there for a couple episodes. Did pretty good. Well, I got some tidbits here with me this morning. On this day in 1789, George Washington was inaugurated as the first president of the United States of America.
When did the Revolutionary War end? Any trivia buffs here, Paul?
I should know that, but I don't off the top of my head.
Wait about 15 minutes. The professor will be here. He'll have an answer.
Okay. We'll know soon.
On this day in 1904, the ice cream cone made its debut at the St. Louis World's Fair.
Great invention, I gotta
absolutely.
say.
Was it ever? On this day in 1939, Lou Gehrig set an MLB record playing his 2,130th consecutive and final game for the New York Yankees.
In load management times, there's no way that ever gets broken.
No.
Not even close.
He was the Iron Horse, nicknamed that for a reason.
Well, I guess Cal Ripken did break it.
Yeah,
but between those two
Yeah.
guys, nobody's going to be in that stratosphere.
You're right. On this day in 1989, the World Wide Web, WWW, was first launched in the public domain by scientist Tim Berners-Lee.
So, you're hearing it here first. The World Wide Web is older than Tanner.
Yep.
Oh
By 3 years.
Let that sink in for a minute.
Sorry, Greg. Greg was talking about how that's still new technology earlier. Just teasing.
In this one, I had to put in here because I was like, how could they figure this out? On this day, 2018, the world's oldest known spider,
Come on.
a female trapdoor, died after being killed by a wasp sting in Western Australia. Age was 43 years old. Of the spider. How do they know this? That's what.
You know, this bothers me a lot because someone was way too close to a spider for a long time.
You're
That's
right.
dangerous.
43 years.
Yeah, no one should ever be allowed that
I
close to a
read
spider.
that, I'm like, I have to put that out there because that's out of left field if I've ever heard of anything.
Yeah. Wow.
Unnecessary risk taking.
And today we got a few national and world days going on. It's National Hairball Awareness Day. So for
Brush
all
your
you,
cats, folks.
all you who have
Yeah.
cats know about that. It's also Honesty Day. Good day to be honest. Every day's a good day to be honest. Oatmeal Cookie Day. Oatmeal Cookie fan, Paul? Sometimes?
Sometimes prefer them with raisins. But
Okay.
I do
Yeah.
too. They're usually better than you think they're going to be.
Yes.
Almost every time.
Yeah, you pick it up and you're like, man, I really don't want this.
Yeah,
You eat it and
really
you're like,
want
oh, that hit the
I really
spot.
want a chocolate chip, and then you take the bite, it's like, oh, cinnamon and
Yeah.
oatmeal and raisins.
Exactly. I've got tricked by what I thought was a
I
chocolate
know.
chip.
I have
A few
to.
too many times.
Yes, and it works better, especially if you get a bite that has the raisin in it
Yeah.
when you're thinking it's
Oh,
a chocolate chip.
You're thinking,
Oh.
Mom, did Mom pack my lunch again?
I told her chocolate chip.
We're gonna ask Greg later if hairball is part of our pet insurance coverages later. He should know the answer.
And it's also International Jazz Day, so you might want to crank up a jazz tune or two today, Paul.
We might have to.
You got any favorites, Tanner?
Not off the top of my head.
Those all come out before you were born too.
Most likely a film record.
Sorry,
That's
all
all
low
right.
blows on the show this morning. I have a feeling one's gonna come
I
back
can
and
listen
get
to
me.
it on the World Wide Web. So.
Oh, that's great. Thanks,
You're
Tanner.
welcome.
I got a few quick upcoming events we wanted to cover. We have been talking about the tree handout. Really cool opportunity to get a tree. There's going to be 400 trees given out at the Prairie Edge Nature Park, which is kind of that past Riddle School, 3rd Street Park near the bypass. Can you still call it the bypass, or is that a before Tanner term also?
I think that's
Okay.
that same, yeah.
That's tomorrow at 9 a.m. So we're actually here on the cusp of that giveaway. In
Yes.
case you're wanting a tree, it's first come first served, so you can't reserve that special sugar maple that you're looking for.
Okay, so get there bright and early.
That's right. And you can fish and walk around the trails there too.
Yeah.
While you're there, you may as well. North Central Indiana Association of Realtors is holding a Shred for Food event tomorrow from 1 to 3 at the Kroger gas station here in Rochester. And that's $5 per box or a free will donation. And all money collected will be donated to the Marshall and Fulton County Food Pantries. So that's a really nice, creative event.
Yes, it is.
Also, this is really cool. The 38th annual Kiwanis Club Chicken and Noodle Dinner started before Tanner was around. Will be held on Monday.
See the common theme here.
That one was before me even, so.
And I think it's Monday, May 9th, I was thinking. Is that, or no, May 4th?
Yeah, this will come
This
Monday,
coming
would be
Monday's
the
the 3rd. So.
3rd, thank you. We're getting tracked back in. I need some more caffeine too. That's from 5 to 7 at the Fulton County Historical Society Museum. We did a couple of those events out there last year. It's a drive-through, carry-out only event, and works really well. So encourage that. Tickets are $9 at the door. There's a limited number, so you might want to contact a Kiwanis Club member just to make sure that you can get one. Always popular, and those funds are usually given out to youth and students via scholarships by the local Kiwanis Club. Great event. Uncorked is hosting an 80s movie trivia night on Monday, May 10th. This is why I was getting confused on my Mondays. Benefit the Times Theater Incorporated. So a neat fundraiser for the local theater. Who doesn't like 80s movie trivia? Maybe Tanner.
I
Before
love
my
me some
time.
80 movies, but I don't know if I'd be able to answer the trivia questions or not.
My family watched E.T. here recently.
Ooh.
The kids enjoyed that for the first time. So, hell yeah. We had a good time with it. That event starts at 7, $65 for a team. You can have up to 5 players.
Yeah, and I think there's a limit of 10 teams.
10
Yes.
team
I think
limit.
so,
Okay.
Yes.
with the space,
10
so
team limit, yes.
you gotta
You
fill
are
pretty
correct.
fast.
Now that sounds like a great time. I'm sure Mr. Van Sickle will be signing up a team very quickly. He's
Yeah.
a big trivia guy.
Limited space, so you gotta do it quick.
Okay. Money news. We got a couple items there. The Dow wasn't very exciting this week, but the S&P did close at another record. Some earnings from the first quarter coming in for public corporations, and Facebook and Apple had some really, really good earnings. Then later, Amazon also showed some great revenue increase in earnings. So lots of good news there in terms of what came out yesterday. GDP for the first quarter, 6.4%. That's an annualized number, is how they track that. But that would be a huge annual number. If we end up somewhere like that, that'd be our best GDP number since 1984.
Awesome.
So things are looking great as long as people keep spending money.
Yes.
That's the biggest key to those numbers.
Spend that money.
Toyota's going to invest $803 million. That doesn't even sound like much anymore, does it? With all the headlines these days.
No.
1,400 new jobs in Indiana, which is awesome at their auto manufacturing plant. They're looking to produce 2 new SUVs here in Indiana, so very cool. Okay, we will be talking about ourselves today.
Yes.
So we'll just bring Greg in right now.
Don't forget, there's something that you gotta do.
What will make us
keep?
Oh, yeah. Well, we are FDIC insured. However, the products we're talking about are not. And an equal housing lender. So our NMLS number is 399927. Normally we talk a lot about mortgages, and that's why we want to make sure we have that in there. But this morning we're going to talk about something a little bit new and different for First Federal, but not really that unique or unusual for a bank to be offering insurance products. And we brought our expert in, the big hitter, Greg Danner.
Glad to be here. I'm not an expert, and to continue the disclosures, neither Evan and I are licensed agent, and neither is Tanner for that matter. So when we say we and our, we're referring to our agency. That's right. That's owned by our employer, First Federal Bank.
And that agency is called First Federal Insurance Services.
Yes, it is.
So Greg, you're our Senior Vice President of Development and Compliance. We don't get to talk to you much down here because you're from up north country.
It's been a while. You know, COVID kind of stopped some of the travel.
We're glad to have you down here. Give us a little bit of your background briefly and tell us a little bit about some of your interests and who you are.
Well, not to jump on Tanner, but to go the other way, this is my 40th year in banking this year. So
our wise sage.
Well, no. So I mean, I think I'm a year or two ahead of Todd, but normally I know he's here. So I've been at First Federal for about 6 years, and done various things in my banking career, and this has been a great opportunity for me to come here. And I've been traveling down here for the first couple of years, and now I've been working out of Mishawaka, live up in Granger. So First Federal's got a number of offices, and we've got a strong Northern Indiana presence and a great market up there. And just a little nervous looking around here. We were talking about the albums up here earlier, but I haven't been in a studio since 1976, which was high school, and I don't think anybody in here was born then. Maybe you were a twinkle in your father's eye or something, but maybe not even to that point to Tanner.
No comment.
So it's pretty cool. So
that's neat.
I think the bank had talked about insurance for a while. I think it's a big mortgage lender. Sometimes we see people that are first-time home buyers or purchasing a home for the first time in a while, and they're going through the closing process, and there's a lot going on, there's a lot to get taken care of, and sometimes they end up, I was talking with one of the managers yesterday, they end up going to closing and don't have insurance. And we thought, okay, well, why can't First Federal be the one to help provide that? And today there's so much being bought online, and I saw some statistics where, a percentage close to 50% of people are purchasing products like insurance online. So we thought, how would we do this? How could we serve, 6 branches in a lot of disparate markets, for our customers? So we looked at different options, and we found an organization that could help us form our own agency and then be able to offer products and services for insurance, homeowners, auto, business coverages. And we just thought that was a great opportunity because we know we have a great franchise. We have a lot of trust with our LOs. When they're going through that process, we have borrowers that come back over and over again to the same LO, and they trust us. So we thought, First Federal could be that trusted provider for the insurance side. So we spun up an agency, working with this other group to do the servicing. It went live in October. We started providing referrals to them in November, and they provide a wide variety of products. And one of the neat things about insurance is, from a banking and business perspective, well, everybody needs it. But the awesome thing also for the other side, everybody already has it. So the key thing for us is to be out there, is to offer that alternative to our customers and non-customers, through that mortgage experience, through consumer lending, through the deposit side, and give them an opportunity, to find a quote and, to go that route. to be an alternative because, today, depending on where you are, you may not have the choices. And I think what you and I discussed, and I know your experience was the same as mine, I hadn't shopped my insurance in years.
Right.
And so we call the agency, they come back and they're like, wow. Because we know today with the home prices increasing and loan amounts increasing, you could, saving 5 as the commercial goes, say 15% in 15 minutes, 10 minutes more. Well, that can be true, and not just with them, but with our agency, they'll shop a variety of carriers for you and come back with a quote.
Are these name brand carriers, Greg?
Yeah, we got up to 40 name brand carriers, names such as Progressive, Liberty Mutual, Safeco, and then they recently added Allstate, which will be available.
That's great.
So those are names, but they're a variety of carriers that look at a variety of risks, because a lot of carriers, insurance companies, may rate you. There may be one, and I know in personal experience over the years, when we had children, and then when the children started driving, I got the quote, and I'm like, my goodness, okay, we got 2 choices here. You don't get to drive, or we borrow to pay for the insurance. And what I ended up doing is going to an independent agent who shopped a different company, who found out that, okay, the company you're with doesn't really like young drivers, and this one does, so we were able to switch. Of course, after my son's first accident, the other one was, real excited about that. I mean, when you hit a street post in the neighbor's yard, it's probably a high risk situation. Oh, really? Okay. I just thought, I didn't hear anything. Oh, I did hear anything. He didn't even get around the corner.
I've heard the male brain's decision-making maturity is like 35, so that might have something to do
I'm
with
not there yet. I'm still waiting.
Okay, yeah, I'm not sure they've really
Hopefully they're not pushing it out.
dialed in on that. Well, we are speaking with Greg Danner, First Federal Savings Bank's Senior Vice President of Development and Compliance, and we're talking about the First Federal Insurance Services Agency this morning to give a little bit more background about why we're offering those products now and what the value is for them. So you mentioned something about value of shopping around, and if you've just been, the easiest thing in insurance is just renewing every year.
Right.
You're trusting who you're working with, you're renewing, and that's good. We've all been there, it's convenient, but there's some, getting a new quote and just checking it out, that's not inconvenient, is it?
No, it's very easy to do. We can do that. They can do that online. They can call the agency. The easiest way to get to the site is to go through the bank website. We have a banner running Tanner set up. You can click on that banner because it's along firstfederalbanking.insuranceiaisle.com. And you can put in a quote, some basic information. They will call back or contact you by email, what do you ever prefer, and then they'll get your information. And what they try to do is match your current coverage. So they're not going to come back with a low rate quote just to get your attention. It's going to match that, but they'll also look at your policy, your coverages, and try to see if there's any gaps, if there's a way to save. And then they'll shop that. They've got auto raters where they basically put the information in a system. All the carriers that they work with come back and they'll provide 3 or 4 quotes for you, and then they'll provide you the best one and contact you and discuss it. So it's very easy. There's no obligation. So if you get that, you're not quite ready to make a change, they'll you can talk with them. They'll recontact you, or you can recontact the agency back. So whatever fits what you need to do. I think it's great. We encourage our customers to check, regardless of whether they are unhappy with their agent. What we're finding is a lot of people haven't talked to their agent in years. And to me, I used it initially to kind of go back to my agent and say, look, I got a little bit of coverage over here. What can we do? And to give them a chance, because agents are like a lot of other businesses. They get so many customers. They're not looking at your individual policy. Renewals come and go. They might get a sheet that shows some change in premium, but they just can't monitor it. And I think we're giving our customers and non-customers an opportunity to kind of be on top of that and help themselves save money.
That's great. And also, lower insurance costs can help you qualify a little bit easier for a mortgage at times.
Well, that's how we're telling the loan officer. Make sure you mention this because if you got somebody on the edge, if they're saving a little bit of money here or there, and obviously escrow is a big part of it. I know, for people my age, I've got the gray here in the studio if you're on the radio. So, well, it's actually almost close to white. That's the black there. For those people, it's an opportunity to save on their policies and to look at those changes. I know for me, going through that process, it can be a little bit daunting, and in the mortgage process, you can save a little bit here or there. I think for me, just on escrow, just in taxes and insurance, people can pay $400 or $500 a month without even a mortgage payment. So if you can reduce that $100 a month, or even $300 over the year, that makes a big difference. And it can, believe it or not, move somebody into a ratio where they're able to, to get a mortgage with a loan.
Great product for first-time home buyers. I think you mentioned that before. Part of the convenience, not only just getting a quote you can do online or a simple phone call, but also just during the mortgage process. It doesn't matter if you're ready for a renewal or not, I don't think, does it, Greg?
No, it doesn't. They can cancel your policy anytime. You get a refund from your old company. They'll take care of that, and they'll get you started in that. I know sometimes a lot of people wait for the renewal period just because it seems convenient, but I think for a lot of us, it's kind of like some of our online services. I saw the other day, my Sirius renewed. I'm like, I didn't want to renew it. Well, and my credit card number changed, the expiration, but how did they do that? And so, it's kind of like insurance. Wow, what is my renewal date? Because most of it is set up on auto pay. It comes out every month.
Yeah.
Unless you're, paying by check, you probably don't notice it. So yeah, it can be done anytime. But again, whatever the customer wants to do, I think we just encourage them to get a quote, to try us out. We offer great service. The agency monitors their agents, monitors the service side of it, records calls, does surveys to make sure everybody's happy. I know we've had the personal experience. It was great. The agent was very personable, asked the questions, and I know if we can talk a little bit about the other coverages outside of home and auto. There's a number of coverages maybe that people want to try out instead of the other coverages. If you've got a wedding coming up, event insurance. If you've got a classic car, for you boomers in the room, me. I don't have a classic car, I just got an old convertible, but
it's never too late, Greg.
Yeah, it seems to, got enough stereotypes going with this. But yeah, you can get the classic car coverage. Some of those, and then pet insurance. I think the hairball, I don't think is covered. It should be, because it can be really devastating to the home. But yeah, we both did that.
That's
Francine
right.
For you, Rusty for me. He was up on the table the other day. I think it's another card I can play, because I just looked at him and said, you're insured now. So, not that it would harm me, but I coax him to get down knowing
Cats don't listen too well.
No.
We need all the help we can get.
He's a little cocky now that he has his insurance. He just doesn't know what the value's for. So yeah, a variety of coverages. Again, full service. On the business side, a lot of small businesses, that's kind of their expertise. They can get coverage. I think a lot of small businesses today, we've got a lot of single individuals, sole proprietors, small partnerships. They really need liability coverage. They really need to protect themselves.
Thank you, Greg, for helping inform us a little bit more about what the bank is doing in the insurance business and why, and what value that may have. I think overall we feel everyone should have confidence in their coverage level and confidence in the premium that they're paying. A free quote with us could help you get to that position.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, we want to circle back on the trivia. You might know this, Greg.
I do know it.
Okay.
And I have an additional piece of trivia for you.
Okay, we'll let Paul answer first then.
Oh, crap.
The only QB drafted by the Chicago Bears to start at least 100 games in the modern era. A, Jim Harbaugh, B, Bobby Douglas, or C, Mitch Trubisky.
B.
Incorrect. It's Jim Harbaugh, actually.
I knew it wasn't Trubisky, especially when you said, hey, it's not as recent as you think. That knocked him out immediately for me, so I had a 50-50 here.
Yeah, Jim Harbaugh actually did play for the Bears for quite a bit. He was a starter, and he was there for a while before he even got really started, and then of course he went to the Colts afterwards, and maybe even another team.
Chargers.
Thank you, Tim. Okay, Greg.
Yeah, that wasn't the modern era. I mean, Bobby Douglas was in the early 70s when Bear football was even worse than anyone can imagine. But the trivia
Worse
was,
than Cleveland?
of those three quarterbacks, one of them holds the Bears quarterback rushing record. You know which one that is?
Bobby Douglas.
Yeah, and he held the NFL record for quarterback rushing
For a while.
for longer than Tanner's been around.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, but his quarterback rating overall was 43.
Oh,
Not
It's
good.
not very impressive.
oh my gosh.
Wow.
That's amazing. Well, thank you for adding to that for us, Greg. All right, the words of wisdom are from George Halas. That's what the GSH stands for on the Bears jerseys, in case you didn't know that trivia.
Okay.
His initials. Nobody who ever gave his best regretted it.
Hey, those are great words of wisdom. And before we completely sign off, one upcoming event he missed, and we'll blame him because he puts these scripts together. And I told him about this too. The Chamber Gala Awards coming up at 8:30
Today. That's right. I think we were looking past today already.
Yes, I was.
It'll be live streamed on our Facebook
Oh,
page.
that's awesome.
So you'll be able to catch it tonight at 7 o'clock on RTC or live on our Facebook page.
That's a great event, and thank you for mentioning that.
Hey, no problem.
Jillian will be very happy that you
Yes,
did.
she will. She'll pat me on the back.
Thanks for having us on this morning, Paul. We
Hey,
had a great
thanks.
time.
We'll see you
And
next
thanks
week.
to all our listeners.